Hi, my name is Kali Ronald Wafula, and I was born and raised in Kisumu, Kenya. Currently, I'm living in the United States, West Virginia. Um, I've been in the United States since August of 2016, and I came here as an exchange student in high school. Uh, I did my junior and senior years, like from 3 and from 4, and yeah. Then I went back home, completed my high school, and I came back for college now. So right now I'm a senior in college. I'm pursuing aerospace engineering. Um, okay, so we're here to basically just, I mean, it's not like we're experts or anything, but me and my friend, we're going to be just talking about a few things that you can expect if you're an aspiring international student in the US, basically just anywhere. So we will be talking about a few things that we've experienced over the years and the challenges and expectations that we had and disappointments, stuff like that. So, okay, so I'll start with my very first impression of the US upon landing. Well, when I first got to the US, it was at midnight, so I didn't see much. But the following day, on our way to Washington D.C., I noticed something that's shocked me. We were using a metro bus from New York to D.C., and it was like, I don't know, I can't remember how many hours. Like, let me just say 6 hours, and the entire time, I never saw anyone walking along the road, and I was like, what? I mean, it was strange.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, in Kenya, we used to like, you'd travel to a place like 30 minutes away, and so I mean, um, it's normal to meet like over 500 people just walking along the road, yeah. And this one was different, and yeah, that was the first thing that shocked me, and the fact that the roads are different, the highways, the traffic is totally different, and I won't say it's better or worse, but I mean it's just different
Yeah.
from my countries. And what else?
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, and
Hello.
I'll give Isabella a chance.
Yeah. Hello. So as you've heard from him, my name is Isabel Ouko. I'm also from Kisumu, Kenya, and I've been in the US for now almost 2 years. I go to Kansas State University, and I major in mathematics. Sorry. So today we're talking about some of the culture shocks and some of the challenges we've experienced as international students from Kenya living in the States. And my very first impression of when I landed at night on Atlanta Airport. The first thing I saw was how people have big cars. Like the cars were huge and they were like real of a big range of variety. That was like really shocking to me. And I remember that night when I was traveling back home, and my aunt just told me that people don't put gas. Someone doesn't put gas for you in your car. Gas is the petrol. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, put gas for yourself. That was my first memory of being surprised being in the United States.
Okay, on my way to my home state, which is West Virginia, I'm still talking of 2016. So on my way to my home state, we stopped at this restaurant, and I went in there, and I was like, um, how the menu is like on the wall up there, and you're looking at it, and you don't know what to get, stuff like that, because you're not used to that kind of food and stuff. So it was complicated, and then I just ordered random stuff because I wasn't used to this kind of food. So I ordered random stuff, and I was like, I saw fries, French fries, which we call chips back home. So I was still used to chips. And then I was like, can I have chips and tomato sauce? And I was like, huh? And that guy kept staring at me. What? I mean, he didn't understand what I was talking about because I said, can I have chips? And then after that, he was like, he told me the price. I can't remember the exact price, but it was something like uh, 9.89. So he said 9.89, and I thought it was $989 for just fries and tomato sauce. And I was like, what? Because I only had like $20 in my card, like cash. So the rest of the money was in my card. So I had $20, and I was thinking of like how was I going to pay like 989 and $20, and then I kept staring at him, and he was like $9.89, and I got my first lesson right there. They don't say
Yeah.
like $9.89. I mean, most people don't. So they just say 9.89, 10.19 like that. So you don't get confused like I did.
I remember my encounter with the prices. One time I went to, I think, Macy's to get some stuff. So I bought this perfume and they're like $9.99. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's so expensive. So they actually mean $9.99. And in the same aspect of food, for the longest time, like for the first 6 months, I never ate any foreign food. I never ate any American food. I just used to order fries all the time. And actually, they call fries, when you say chips, they actually, it means something else other than the chips that you know in Kenya. So that is
Yeah.
one thing about food that shocked me. I did not eat like at all for the next 6 months because I just couldn't get used to the food. But now I enjoy pizza.
By the way, yeah, like, okay, your case is kind of different from mine because I was hosted with by an American host, like a white family.
Mm-hmm.
So my host family was white, and their food is like their food is I would say I've never lived like in a white family, no, a black family, like a black US family, but the white family, they like the way they prepare their food is like totally different, and especially during events like Thanksgiving, Christmas. Yeah, their
So
food
what kind
is
of
like
food?
different, like like I don't know, like they make, especially my host mother, she makes pot, she likes making pot roast and frozen food, like they like frozen food, they just like, and also warm food is like, it's rare to get like warm food, mostly like my first few days, honestly, I had like, that was my biggest challenge because I didn't like their food, especially because um, they eat cold food. And especially in the morning, I'm used to drinking tea back in Kenya, and something warm mandazi or chapati. And upper here, it's different. So they eat cold breakfast like milk, cereal, and stuff. I mean, I used to eat cereal back home, but that was just by the way. So
Yeah.
yeah, such stuff were different, and they shocked me, and they gave me a hard. My first 4 months were really difficult because I was trying to adjust to that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, guys, you see, so this is the difference between Kali and I. When he first landed, he went into a white family. As opposed
Mhm.
to me, I landed into a black family. Basically, my relatives. And for some reason, they keep on finding other Kenyans. So I just used to have a lot of Kenyans visit me, a lot of black people. Thanksgiving, we still eat Kenyan food, pilau. We still eat a lot of like gali and
See, hey
pizza.
man, you're so lucky, man.
Yeah, so
Huh?
I didn't know the side of your side of story, and you just eat macaroni and cheese and pork
Oh,
roast and all the
macaroni and
rest.
cheese, pot roast. Like, okay, let me just. I don't want to dwell on that because it's just gonna make me miss home more. Um,
Okay. Like in school, the first time I went to the store to get my laptop, I could not understand what the guy was saying. It was like an old white dude, the southern guys, the southern accent. Like, I'm like, Jesus, we are all speaking English, but I cannot understand what you're saying. And the same applies to me. They couldn't understand what I said. When I went to school, I have my Kenyan accent. I mean, I still do, but at that time it was like fresh Kenyan accent. And they're like, yeah, what did you say again? So that was really hard for me. just getting to understand the Southern accent. And actually, I didn't know that Americans have different accents depending on the regions. I mean, that is common knowledge, but it was kind of culture shock for me. So, what is your say about language speaking English, Kali?
Oh, okay. So basically, I had the same problem with accent because at first, my host family came to meet me at the airport, and from the airport where they picked me up to home, it was like 2 hours away. So they kept talking to me and trying to like ask me about my flight from home, and I could not understand. I could barely understand what they were talking about. So I was just, hmm. So I was just nodding or like like using my facial expression because I didn't want it to seem like I was ignoring them or something. I didn't want to embarrass myself either. So yeah, that was one. And then my first day at school, or let me just say my first month at school, I could not understand what the teachers were saying. It's like, especially my physics class, I took AP physics, and my physics teacher was like this big guy, and oh my God. So I was just relying on my like previous knowledge from back home because in class, I could not understand from like at all what the teacher was talking about or stuff like that. So yeah,
I think this is one thing.
accent. That
I
is
think
one thing that you need to be aware of when you first come here. You're going to experience a big problem with accent.
yeah, I think that is not talked about as much because I mean I knew I was gonna have encounter Americans with the accent, but I didn't expect it in that magnitude. And I was like, Jesus, this thing is really hard. And at some point, my first class was calculus one. I had questions. I like to normally interact with the teacher, but it was intimidating because I was afraid to speak up. I didn't sound like the rest at that point. And
It's normal.
it was hard and challenging. And I was like, no one speaks about this a lot. But over time, of course, I've grown to be confident and how I speak. I have no problem. But at the first days, that was intimidating for me. Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't understand what you're saying. You don't understand what they're saying. So it's like a language barrier or something. And you both, I mean, both of you guys are speaking English. So like,
That's the thing.
weird.
How can you be speaking English, but you still have a language barrier in between you guys?
I,
No?
yeah.
And that is
Okay.
one.
So
Mhm.
yeah. And oh, were you saying something, Bella?
No, I was just going to the next segment, kind of touching it. That is one of the things that make me miss home because at some point I was just tired of repeating myself over and over every
Oh
time.
yeah, yeah.
And it's not their fault that they asked me to repeat myself. I understand that, but I
Mm-hmm.
just got tired at some point. I'm like, I really miss home. I miss a community where everyone speaks like me and everyone can understand what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Having
yeah,
to
yeah,
repeat myself. So that was that.
yeah. Me at first I thought they were like, okay, I didn't want to judge anyone, but I thought they were just being like rude or something because I mean, from my own perspective, I felt like I was just speaking clear English and my accent was very clear, and like somebody's or sometimes some people felt like it was weird to have you repeat what you just said, so they'll just stare at you. You'd ask them something, and then they're just staring at you. So you're like, what's going on? Yeah. Okay, so that is that. And then the next thing is my first day of school. The very first thing that I noticed that was really shocking to me was how classes are conducted. Okay, I'm talking about high school first
Mhm.
because I attended high school here. So it was like classes are conducted differently. In Kenya, we're used to that system where like we have a single classroom, and then with students in the same classroom, we stay in one class and the teachers come in for different subjects. And the only moment that you get to go to a different classroom is maybe when you're having lab projects and stuff. But here it was different because the teachers would stay in like okay, let me just say my physics teacher or my creative writing teacher, they would stay in one class, and then it's the students that would walk to like from one class to another. It's like you move around the campus all day to your different classes, and that was totally different from what I'm used to. So um that was a challenge too. So I had to like adjust to that. Also, in the morning, like every morning, like the very first morning, I walk to the commons area where everyone stays while they wait for classes to start in the morning. And then I was walking along the hallway and I saw people like hugging, kissing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shocked me, huh? Because I was shocked because, oh my God, in like, oh yeah, it's just not, it doesn't happen back home. I mean, maybe it does, but
It's not as common.
it's prohibited. Let me just say
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
especially in the school compound. So yeah.
Yeah, that's I didn't even know that about high school. Came in a college and
So yeah, it was high school. You know, that shocked me because that was in high school. And then
so this is just some of the few culture shocks we've experienced. Of course, there's still many, many more, and we'll be talking about them as time goes by. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, and you'll find more content about this. Now, the second segment of the video, we're going to be talking about some of the challenges we experienced as an international student, because of course it is not bed of roses. There are some shortcomings that will come, there are some disadvantages that we face, or some things that are just challenging, and we'd like to express some of our opinions or experiences. So, Kali, do you want me to go ahead and start listing some, or do you want to go ahead?
you go ahead.
My biggest challenge, I'd say, is that staying away from people you're familiar with, that change of environment, change out of your comfort zone. I became homesick. I missed my family. I missed my friends. I missed my classmates. I mean, of course, this is common knowledge, but it still hits different. And then to make it worse, immediately after I came in around December, and then next year, March, which was 2020, COVID hit, quarantine, and we're all staying at home. So I had no physical interaction with people at school. I didn't have any physical interaction with anyone. So it felt really isolating for me. It was damaging. It was sad. I couldn't like go and hug someone. I couldn't go talk to people. I'm sort of an extrovert person. I need people's presence. So that lack of people's presence, it was very hard. And sometimes it feels very lonely because even in school, people have their own friend groups. They already know each other. I'm just going that fresh new with my accent and I know no one. It feels very lonely sometimes. And that was one big challenge that I had to face. Kali, how about you?
Okay, my biggest challenge at first was just adapting to a different lifestyle, you know, like just like you said. So well, just because I was changing environment, I was coming to live with like a white family and for a whole year, and I was still 16, and you know, and I had a bunch of expectations, but not quite, because prior to coming to the US, we had a bunch of orientations to just prepare us to like what to expect while we'll be here. So that helped a bit to deal with my like these challenges. But yeah, adjusting to this lifestyle, like, you know, the weather, the people,
Yeah.
the food, the currency, let me stuff like that, you know, like the currency, like, you know, I still wasn't like aware of, you know, all the currency, especially the coins, like the penny, the dime, the nickel, and you know,
Yeah.
the quarter. All the stuff, they're just challenging. And then conversion, like the conversion of dollar to shillings, which is my local currency back home. You know, like that stuff was just a challenge. And then as I talked about the accent, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the currency one. That was a tough one. Up to date, I still kind of get used to, especially the coins. Oh, Jesus. My second challenge, I'd say my eyes. I got an insight. Once I went to college, I learned about the American history. I learned about the Black experiences, or the experiences of Black people in America, and some of the microaggressions they deal with. that was really eye-opening at the same time shocking to me. During the first time I came, some questions used to annoy me. When someone asks me like, "Do you have elephants at home?" Did I do that? Of course, these days they just make me. I just laugh and find them arrogant. But at that time, I still didn't know about this. One time, someone was telling me, "Oh, I like your English. You speak really good English." I'm like, I've been speaking English since I was born. Like, you say, it was supposed to come out as a compliment, but it was really backhanded. And that caused some microaggression in me. And I was like, if this is a single comment like this that made me feel like this, how about the Black people who have grown here and lived in maybe predominantly white areas? And I learned about the experiences, and that was shocking. That was heartbreaking because there's some issues that I face here that I never faced back in Kenya due to my race. Because in Kenya we are all Black and that's our race, but here you find that division of races,
Yeah,
tension.
diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So now that you're talking about that, I'd like to let you know that I'm living in a predominantly white uh, region, and then
How does it feel
you
for
know,
you?
oh no, it doesn't like right now. Okay, at first it was kind of awkward. I mean, it's not like I'm being, I don't know, uh, but yeah, I'm used to like she said, I'm used to. I've lived all my life in like with people of the same like complexion, skin complexion. When I first got here and I was living with a white family, I went to school where there was like I'd say like uh, we had like I thought 1,700 students,
Mm-hmm.
and of all those, there were like less than just totally Black students were like less than 15. So
Hey.
it wasn't, yeah, it was kind of awkward. Um, Okay, so another challenge, by the way, was during my air travel here, like traveling from Kenya to here. That was a very big challenge because, first of all, I had problem with. That was the first time I traveled by myself, like abroad
Yeah.
internationally. So finding all those gates, the terminals, just looking around and trying to adhere to the time and stuff, and the food in the airplane, the time, like it took me like I can't remember, but I had connecting flights, and it took me a total of around 22 hours to travel from Nairobi to New York, and it was a very big challenge because I was
Mm-hmm.
traveling for the first time on my own, and yeah, I was only 16, and the packaging, no, like luggage, like packing my luggage. Like how you're allowed to only have like two suitcases and one carry on, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you have to adhere to the luggage limit, like the weight limit and stuff like that. That was a very big challenge for me.
Oh, actually, on top of that, I think we had the same experience, only that I was 18 and you're 16. That must be tough for
Yeah,
us
yeah.
because I traveled alone and I was always scared. On my connecting flight in Netherlands, I was scared I'm gonna take a plane that will take me to Dubai or India. But yeah, I did all the traveling by myself. Food. I could not eat any food. I didn't eat any food in the plane. I just kept on eating biscuits and milk, not milk, water. And that's all.
Uh,
But I traveled by myself. It was really scary but exciting at the same time. And that
uh,
was that was one hell of experience of a
oh
solo
yeah,
travel.
yeah. Nah.
It was
Huh?
scary though.
And okay, I'll just talk about this last challenge, and then okay. Um, Another one challenge I really like didn't sit well with me my very first few months, and actually until right now,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a STEM student, and eh, the system of measurement. In Kenya we used to that
Standard
the
metric system.
the standard SI units, like the international standard units, and then like for temperature we use degree centigrade, and for volume we use cubic centimeters, cubic meters, and stuff like that. And here they use customary unit. It's like completely I mean, it's like the converting all that stuff, because that's a very first basic thing that you need to know before you join like a class like physics class, because they'll be talking about Fahrenheit. They'll be talking about pounds, ounces, and you like they talk about quarts. So you have to know like how to convert all this stuff so that when you go to class, you encounter this stuff, you don't get confused. So that was a very big challenge because master, like it has to sit with you on your mind, on your fingertips, and yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why Americans feel the need to just not use the standard metric system as the rest of the world does.
They have
Literally
to be
everything.
special.
On the road they use miles, and on measuring liquid they use ounces, and I don't know what, instead of like just to use liters, like everyone knows.
Yeah.
So they don't anything but the standard metric system, and that is
Yeah.
really hard. I'm also a woman in STEM. I made in maths, but I also have physics classes. And when someone tells me like 4 ounces of liquid, and I'm like, what the hell is that? But that's those conversion rates and those different terminologies. It's crazy.
Yeah, you have to like adhere to that. And it's crazy. I don't know if I've done anything special. It's just like with time, you learn how to adjust, and because it's just like automatic. You get to adjust. You get to like because okay, let me just say, first of all, the weather. I've adjusted to the weather. Right now, the winter is not that extreme to me, and because that was the very first thing. I have a lot of stories on like my very first day on winter, whatever happened. Because I sat outside, I never saw snow before, so I went the very first time, and then I saw snow, and I went outside, and I was laying on the ground for like 2 hours, just having the snow on me, on myself, and then my body got cold, like freezing cold, and then I like my body was frozen, and then I ran. We had like a jacuzzi, a hot tub. I ran to the hot tub, and I went. I got in the hot tub, but my body was still frozen, and oh my god, that I don't know how to describe that experience, that and a feeling, because that's the one thing that you never want to do. The one mistake. When your body is frozen, don't go straight to like heat, like hot water or something, because I don't know.
The pain of this
feeling. Oh my! I thought I was going to die. I was about to make a last phone call back home and just say,
Don't do that. No, I kind of had previous knowledge about that, so. But it does not snow as much here in the south, which is sad. It snows like for a few minutes and then it's gone. But anyway, on the weather, I was just kind of adapted. One of my things that have helped me a lot, I want to thank so much social media. Just being the presence of this technology, I'm able to communicate back with the people at home. I'm always in touch with my classmates, with my friends back at home, through just Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. And I feel like that has really helped me keep my sanity. Because again, I don't know people here in the States. I don't know people in school apart from my classmates and just merely acquaintances. We're not like friends. But I'm able to keep in touch with them back at home. I'm able to talk to them. It feels okay. It feels consoling. It feels normal. So I feel like social media also played a big role in, I don't know, helping me adapt to changes.
Okay. Yeah. One of the last segments of our podcast today, talking about expectations. First of all, I'm just going to list them because I wrote them down. Before you come to America, be aware that you have to work your butt off in order to like live. Because especially when you're planning to live on your own, like I'd say everything is just expensive over here, and you have to work for it. Because whatever you hear back home, the stereotypes about America that you could just come here and like excel in life and stuff like that. No, I mean it doesn't work like that. Maybe to some people, but according to my experience, I'd say stuff like rent and living cost and food, college cost, like tuition fees, housing, grocery, books, transportation, stuff. I mean, those stuff, they're like really expensive, and you have to have the money. And there's no shortcut. There's nothing like taking stuff on debt. So like we do back home. So you have to really work and have the money unless you have somebody that sends money to you. But yeah. And also for college, when you're trying to apply for college, there's some stuff that you really need to consider, especially the college cost. That's one thing that's really like a big challenge because um, if you apply to if you're applying to college and you don't have scholarship opportunities and you're planning to pay like out of pocket at first, pay for the tuition cost and the housing and stuff, the advice that you apply to a community college before you apply to a 4-year college, because community colleges are like relatively cheaper, way cheaper compared to like the 4-year colleges. And yeah, yep. And then at college, another thing that you need to expect is diversity. Like there's different kinds of people, especially when you go to like a college like mine, a state college. There's different types of people from different walks of life, and you have to be ready with that because you'll be meeting Black people, you'll be meeting Asians, you'll be meeting Americans, you'll be meeting like different people, and they have different culture. So you have to respect that. You have to understand that nobody's better. That's one thing that I've always like learned from the first day. Nobody's better, nobody's worse. They're just different from you, and you have to respect and understand that everyone is just different from you. Yeah. And
Yeah.
lastly, healthcare. That's healthcare. Like it's good. It's really good. The health cover, the healthcare system is really good, but very, very, very expensive.
Like
Huh?
very, like with a capital V, and we're not even.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Very, very expensive. Because okay, let me just give you a quick example. The other day I went to get COVID test. COVID test that should just be free. I thought it was free because I went to get a COVID test, and then a few days later I got this bill that says I owe them $100, which is an equivalent of 10,000 Kenyan shillings, like approximately. I was like, what? Just COVID test, having something swabbed in your nose costs 10,000 Kenyan shillings.
It's
That
so
was.
I thought it was free.
I thought it was free too, and then I was so shocked. So yeah,
Man,
those
the
are some
medical
things.
system is expensive. But on top of that, just to wind up the video, we still have more points that we've left out and which I was about. One thing I can say about one advice, when you come out, please seek out opportunities. Don't be afraid to speak up. There are like college fundings, there are research projects, there are these groups. Seek out, go meet people, because right now we have everyone from a different background. And this is your opportunity to just go and live life and seek the opportunities. So really reach out to people. You never know where help can come from. Make connections. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And that brings it to the end. Carly, thank you so much for hosting me in today's talk. Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you.
I think you got it wrong. You are the one that's hosting me.
But it's gonna be on your video.
Yeah. Anyway, we just wanted to, it's not like we're experts or anything. We're just sharing out of like experience, and we want you to like be aware of what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. That's all, guys. We'll see you guys later.
Yep. Bye. Thank you, Bella. Isabel.